chat, are we good to go? Awesome. Welcome everybody to the July 2nd community meeting. I'm Creeping. I'm going to be hosting this thing tonight. Unfortunately, Karma's not able to make it. He's got some family stuff going on. So yeah, let's just get it started. So this Wednesday is going to be an open operation. Actually, what am I doing? Let's go through the rules first. So we're going to keep quiet in the channel. We're going to be typing in the community meeting text channel. I'll go through a few announcements, things that we've been up to in the last month, things that we're looking forward to, stuff like that. And then after I'm done with that, we will be going through kind of a Q&A session led by myself and Evan, who's going to be watching our Twitch chat, and it's helping answer questions from there. So the community meeting text channel is where you guys are going to ask questions. We're not going to be answering questions that you ask in voice, just the stuff in the community meeting text channel. And I'll let you guys know when we hit that point. So yeah, sorry for that false start. Let's get to it. So Wednesday is going to be an open operation. That means you do not need to have SOTT Basic to be a part of this operation. It's a great introductory kind of operation for the community, for people who are trying to get into our One Life events but don't really know if they want to commit yet or not. So it's a great way to introduce new players. So we expect everybody to be awesome to those people that are coming out for the first time. It's also important to note that this Wednesday is actually a holiday for the US. So that operation on this upcoming Wednesday is going to be EU time. It's going to be in our normal EU time slot. It's our session 1 time slot that we do stuff on Saturdays. Let's see, I'm going to be sending out a straw poll here. This past Saturday, we ran 2 different operations in the EU and NA time slots. So we're interested to know if you guys liked that or not. So I'm going to throw a straw poll. We're going to see what kind of results we get from that, and we'll take it into account as we, as a staff, discuss further. Keep in mind the results of the straw poll are not binding. We're just going to be taking it into account when we discuss doing it in the future. So we'll keep an eye on that straw poll. There will be no operation on Wednesday, July 18th. That is because of the post-scriptum release. We figure everybody's going to really want to be on playing post-scriptum that day. So we're not going to try and hold an event and let you guys just really hit it in post-scriptum. I've already seen a question in the community meeting channel, and it was something that I was going to announce anyway. So are we doing post-scriptum ops? Our status with post-scriptum is going to be this. We're going to have public servers. There will be a squad ops whitelist server in post-scriptum. As far as operations, that is something that we have not totally determined yet. There's a number of factors that go into us being able to run operations inside of that game. When it gets out in full release and we're able to get hands on the game for a more extended period of time than just a weekend, we will be able to make the determinations that we need to decide whether we can do it or not. So still up in the air right now. You should be getting a more firm answer in the next month or two. Yeah, so that is post-scriptum. Some staff application announcements. SOTT is looking for staff members. They're looking for applicants. Keep in mind the SOTT application is different than the normal staff application. Both are in the README if you want to be a part of the SOTT team and you want to teach basic, advanced weapon system, vehicle, small unit leadership, all of those courses, you're interested in teaching them. You want to make sure that you fill out the SOTT specific application. Again, that is in the README. Mod dev team, always looking for people who are interested in modding. I believe any of the normal skills having to do with the SDK, like blueprints, modeling, any like texturing, that sort of stuff would be appreciated, but they are right now specifically looking for mappers. They'd love to have one or two guys, or as many as would want to apply, that have experience mapping in the SDK for Squad. I believe we're looking to get some custom maps going for, I believe our not possibly an SOTT map, possibly stuff specific to our hardcore One Life events, possibly stuff for our general public play servers. But if you are part of the mod dev team, you are working on our event mod, maps, hardcore mod. So if you're interested in doing any of that stuff, we're looking for guys that have a little bit of experience doing and working with the SDK, but specifically mappers. Speaking of the mod, we'll close things out with some mod updates for you guys. After a lot of discussion, and we have come to a decision that map markers are going to be going back into our One Life events. So that's what we're going to be for the immediate future. That's what we're going for. Again, we're not set in stone. This is the only thing that it's going to be until Squad doesn't get played anymore. Like this is always open to figuring out. If it's not working, we'll change things. If it works well, we're going to keep going with it. Let's see, updates to the mod have shrunk it in size. Pony made that announcement, I believe it was yesterday. The mod is now smaller. It's not the same size as the entire game. See, we are really looking forward to modding V2. We don't have any more updates than the general public does on that. It is just, I guess, in development, but we're excited for what it is going to allow us to do. Finally, if you have any bugs that you have found within the mod, please report that in the mod channel. That is the modding channel under discussion. If you find anything like that, you can take a screenshot. You can describe what problems you've encountered, stuff like that, and mod team will get on that and try and fix those bugs and problems. Yeah. So at this point, I don't have any more announcements. So unless a staff member has something that I have forgotten that they really need to make sure that the community hears, we will go to the Q&A section. So remember, guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and type it in the community meeting channel. I'm going to be running down the community meeting channel now. We'll do this for 20, 30 minutes or so, as long as you guys have good, productive questions. Evan is going to be monitoring the Twitch chat. So if you're watching on Twitch and not through the Discord, you can still type your questions in there. Evan SMA is going to be looking through that and answering those questions. Yeah, so the first one that I can see right here, let's see, I already answered that one. Any campaigns coming up? So that's a question for XBit. I believe our campaigns tend to happen on long weekends, but XBit would know more if there's any he's got coming up right now. XBit, are you here? I am gonna guess that is a no. Traditionally, our campaigns have been done on long weekends during the U.S. holidays, so that I'm not even quite sure when the next one is. Maybe like Labor Day or something. It's a couple months out. That's usually when we have our campaigns. Let's see. Just one for Postscriptum, or will there be more servers in the future? I actually do not know what our planned number of servers in Postscriptum is. I don't think Barton would have that answer, but he's not here right now. So I'll ask him, and I'll see if we can get any sort of announcement out to you, Chameleon, or the general public once we know how many servers we're going to have. I think it's still like we don't have access to the game yet either, so like we don't know really how many servers we can have up quite yet. Let's see, when does Postscriptum come out? Postscriptum comes out Wednesday the 18th for like completely public play, I think, at that point. Bag of Joe, I believe you're referencing the mod and will players stay invisible. So when I say map markers, I mean you're going to be able to see other players and vehicles on your own team on the map now. Map markers, as in placing down attack markers or infantry markers or something like that, those will still not be allowed. But you will be able to see yourself. You'll be able to see vehicles on the map. You'll be able to see friendly players on the map and teammates. Let's see. Explanation as to why Squad Ops decided to simplify the map. So that was part of an immersion thing. We were trying to like encourage a lot more communication, make things a lot like leadership was more important because you could only see squad leaders and like medics on the map. There were a number of different reasons why we decided to do it, but the reason why we brought it back is a number of reasons, including it made it easier to admin stuff, and what we were finding was that it made things a lot more confusing and a lot harder to control players and understand what was happening on the battlefield. And I mean, ultimately, as much as we want to have immersion and stuff like that, if we're not having a good fun time and we're not able to like execute fun plans and stuff like that because we've made it more complicated for ourselves, then it's just not rewarding in the way that we want our operations to be rewarding. So we're going back to having map markers and stuff like that on the map. Has there been any conversation about upcoming Insurgency, Sandstorm, and possible ops servers? To my knowledge, there has been no conversation about that. I don't believe we're looking to get into Insurgency. It's not any whisperings I've heard. So if you want to start a movement for that, feel free. But I don't think that's going to be in the cards. As a new player like me, what's the difference between SOTT Basic sessions 1 and 2? So they're the exact same. They're just different times of the day when you can take the class. The SOTT Basic will be the same anytime you see it marked on the calendar. Public servers, what do people think about, or even if it is possible, to limit warrior spawns in a game? So that would be something that might come up in our hardcore mod for public servers. If we find that it produces better play to have fewer warriors, then maybe it's something we could see in that. But I don't think there's been any plans to mess with vehicle spawns quite yet. Yeah, so can we get an FTL class in July? That's something that our SOT team decides and dictates based on the availability of instructors, requirements like the need for a class, that sort of stuff. So the SOTT guys are going to decide that. But if you can get a group together and tell them that like, hey, we're a large group that wants to do FTL, or we're a group the appropriate size that wants to do FTL, is there any way we can get a special class together? I believe that's one of the classes that they can run if you read the README about an impromptu session. Never mind. I just got a message saying no impromptu for FTL or SUL. So you're going to have to wait for an actual class. However, in the future, FTL and SUL is something that they're looking to be able to do an impromptu on, but currently we're not there yet. So sorry, Rabbit. Would Squad Ops ever consider lowering the age limit to become a Squad Ops member? I'm 11. Okay, so the way that we look at age limits, if you are mature and we're not having to constantly like correct your behavior and stuff like that, and like then we've got no problem with you playing with us. But what we're really looking for is not an actual age. We're looking for a maturity level. If you, if you can play with adults and be adult about the way that we're playing on the server, then there's no problem with you playing with us. We don't set an actual age limit on it, just a maturity limit. Evan, perfect answer. 18 plus maturity. You can play if you act accordingly. Thanks, Evan. Jive, I believe I answered over what is the reason for bringing back player markers. I think, unfortunately, I'm scrolling down and I haven't caught up to you guys yet. I went over it a little bit, but basically, we found that it wasn't producing the level of immersion and level of gameplay that we were hoping that it would be. So we've brought them back just to make things better and easier for us to run those events. Are we ever going to be replaying campaigns? That would be another question that XBit would be able to answer. That's not something that I can. If you can get a movement going to say that you really want to play a certain campaign over again, and you can show XBit that there's a desire for him to replay a campaign instead of creating a new one. I know he puts a lot of effort and time. He might be appreciative of the fact that he doesn't have to put in, 5-6 hours trying. I believe it's even longer than that. But yeah. What should I expect basic and what should I expect in basic this Thursday? Just learning about the basics of how we communicate and stuff in operations. That's really it. Just show up and it's pretty easy. Just listen to your instructor, do what he tells you to do, and you'll be fine. Does the mod still expand after download, or was that fixed? That's something I'm not totally sure of. That would be a question for our mod dev team. Looks like Triton answered that it's currently 14.5 gigabytes. I have no reason to doubt that, so I'm going to say that's the answer. If Postscriptum ops do come out, are we going to have a different Discord server just for that? I doubt it. Don't take that word as gospel. Don't take that answer as gospel, but I doubt it. I think that we wouldn't be running them simultaneously, so it would still just be an event within this server, within this Discord server. What is the penalty for not being able to show up for an SOTT? There's not really a penalty right now, as far as I know. That would be a question for SOTT or the community team. But
there is no penalty for SOTT.
Okay, yep. Currently, there's no penalty for not being able to show up to an SOTT. However, it really helps with us being able to gauge numbers and what to expect, like numbers-wise. If you're not able to show up and you have the ability to unregister for the SOTT, please try to do so. Our website is pretty well compatible with mobile, so even if you only have access to your phone and you remember, just try and unregister. It really helps us out. Let's see, where can I go to read up and or watch a previous hardcore event? So you can always check out our Twitch VODs. Those usually have like the last week or two of events up there. We've been working on getting our YouTube up and going again and making sure that things get transferred over to that. But if you want to watch some really past events, there's a whole library on our YouTube. However, those are a little bit on the older side. Yeah, JTech, that's a great answer. Basic SOTT teaches you effective comms, formations, bounding, tactical movements, rules of the game. Basically, all the things that we, like the baseline knowledge of things that we want you to know before you enter an operation. Really helps make sure that everybody's on the same page, and when a squad leader calls out like a formation, command, movement order, or something like that, you know exactly what he wants. When are we going to get Squad Ops merch? So we've run some merch stuff in the past. We're planning on doing it again. We're tying up some details, some final stuff with that. Hopefully we're going to have a definitive answer on the Squad Ops merch incoming pretty soon, but right now we don't have a definitive answer for when it's going to come. Can player map markers be a event specialty rule rather than a blanket thing? So I believe what you're asking is certain operations have map markers and certain operations don't. I believe right now it is a blanket thing. You either have the mod installed or you don't, and our mod doesn't even take them out anymore. You could have also been asking if you wanted it to be a hardcore mod on our vanilla or on our public servers versus event rules. I think the ones that we really, it's going to be in for both. We're going to have map markers in for both uh, both types of servers. Let's see. On normal ops server, our server rules visible so everyone can read them in game. So unfortunately, there's no real spot for us to announce like our complete list of server rules in game. You can check our Discord. The README has server rules, stuff like that in it. And I know that some of our server messages include stuff like no team killing, stuff like that. But in game, I don't believe any server has been able to implement server rules that I know of. Is there going to be more ops in a week or month in the future? So right now, we're not looking at expanding the number of operations that we have. That comes down to a number of things. First off is staffing. Make sure that we have enough staff to run these events and not burn anybody out, trying to get them to do more than they can handle. Remember that all staff is here on a volunteer basis. We're just donating our time because we love doing this. We're not looking to burn anybody out and make anything a big requirement. So I don't believe we're going to be looking at getting more operations in the future. Yeah, so would definitely be down to, okay. When are the Twitch VODs going to be uploaded to YouTube? That's still yet unknown. We're trying to work out a system to make it efficient. Once we're there, we'll try and get there. Let's see, how do I get the mod installed? I subscribe but don't see a download link. So when you subscribe, it should start downloading automatically. It doesn't automatically, you can force it to. I believe the modding channel has a pin message, or it's in the README. One of those two has a way of forcing it to download the mod. But restarting Steam is usually a really good way to get it going. Is there any way to get a written transcript of SOTT courses if we feel the need to come back on the formation if we forgot some things? So there's a few things that we've looked at, including like, making a short little infographic on the things covered in an SOTT course. However, there's nothing out right now. It's still something that we're exploring and not committed 100% to doing yet. If you have any questions, anything specific, you can probably feel free if you run into an SOTT member to ask them about. Please don't ping them for something like that. That would probably be a little too much. Yeah. Will there be SOTT courses created in the future? So we're definitely looking at getting more. One of the more obvious ones will be when helicopters are included into the game, into the base game. We're not looking at adding helicopters into our mod or adding the helicopter mod into anything that we're doing. We're definitely going to be putting together a flight, like a pilot SOTT course. So look forward to that when that comes out. We definitely want to make sure that if you're going to fly during an operation, you need to be able to know what you're doing. So I'm sure that's also going to be one of the pass fail like FTL and SUL are. Yeah, can the frequency of SOTT courses be greater? So that's another one where, again, we're all here volunteer. We don't want to over. SOTT is looking for more for a reason. So if you want more SOTT courses, go ahead and start teaching them. That is one great way to ensure that you get more courses. But I believe the plans right now are to stick to the Thursdays and the in-between course on Saturday. Again, if you have a group, if you have an SOTT that you need to take and it's not FTL or SUL, check the README for info on how to get an impromptu going. Basically, get a bunch of guys together and contact an SOTT instructor. And if there is somebody available, they will hopefully be able to get a course together. Can we exclude much of the role playing when going over the briefing? Say digging up enemy radio is much clearer than destroy enemy intel. So we're looking at a few different things. We know that sometimes there's a little bit of confusion as to what objectives in operations are, and the event team is looking into and currently experimenting with the best way to communicate all this information so that everybody has it. Whether that is in the op doc or in the pre-op briefing or in your platoon brief inside the operation itself, that it's still being explored. So we understand that sometimes there's confusion and that's a problem, and we're working on that solution. But right now, there's no clear-cut solution that we've decided on yet. Is there a stream of SOTT courses that one can watch? Currently, no. I don't believe there's any plans on starting one. Generally, we want people to actually go through the SOTT course instead of just watching it, because just watching it doesn't get you a tag. So, and I know you're probably asking for the purposes of refreshing, but it's not something. I don't believe we're going to be looking at doing that. Let's see. Could helicopter SOTT could be part of a logistics course? Plenty of players still don't know logistics. So our SOTTs are specifically designed for operations. You don't really need to know much about logistics for operations, so we're probably not going to include much logistics talk within an SOTT. The reason we would have a helicopter is specifically because helicopters will most likely be a part of an operation. So logistics courses, I don't think we're going to be seeing any of those. Big fan of the pre-op videos in addition to the op doc. Is that likely to become standard going forward? So yeah, we had one of those last week. If you scroll up in through the announcements, you can check it out. It was very well done. Awesome job by our event team putting that together and creating that. I'm not sure if it's going to be a one. It is. Okay, awesome. We are working on more. So yeah, definitely we're looking at that becoming the standard going forward. Let's see. Any plans to expand vehicle SOTT to include better training on armored warfare tactics? So we're always looking to revise, expand, make whatever changes that feel necessary to SOTTs. I'm not sure if we're going to be looking too hard into armored warfare tactics. While definitely a part of the base game, we found that a lot of vehicle gameplay can be unrewarding to the infantry that is the most of the server in those hardcore events. So my understanding, and I could be wrong, this is something that XBID or somebody else on like the event team could correct me on, but I believe we're looking at going away from really heavy vehicles and having a lot of them. So armored warfare tactics, probably not. Is it allowed to film operations from the player's POV? Film and record, yes. Stream, no. So you are totally welcome to record anything that you do on our servers and post it later. Like recording an event from your POV and then posting it later on a YouTube channel, stuff like that. Absolutely. But we do not allow public players to stream during our events. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Will there ever be a super fob SOTT? Nice post. We'll see if Karma wants to host one of those. Let's see. Yep, Evan, no streaming, only recording. Evan, have there been any questions that haven't been covered yet in that Twitch chat?
Only questions are what servers we provide, whitelist, invasion, and insurgency on squad game modes.
Yep. So that's most of the game modes. I don't think we have any conquest anywhere. But yeah, so our whitelist server is mostly AAS, and we have an invasion only server and an invasion/insurgency server. Those are our public servers that we have up right now. Yeah, so that's it. We're about 30 minutes in. I'll give it about 5 more minutes. So if anybody has any more questions that they want to get answered, we're going to have about 5 more minutes before we cut out here. So HML asks, are there any invasion insurgency layers that aren't in the rotations? That I'm not totally sure. I don't do any of the rotation creations, so I don't know what the full list of layers are. Yeah. I haven't found whitelist server. How do I find it? If you look under the official servers tab, that's where our public servers are. They're not under the custom servers tab. Generally, if you just sort by name, squadops.gg will have all of our servers. What time will the SUL results be posted? Those should be coming out within the next day or two. I don't have an exact time. That would be up to the instructors that taught it. Which public servers would you say is most frequented by regulars? Yeah, Evan answered pretty correctly there. All of them. It depends. There generally a lot of regulars will hop into server, and then lots of play across all the servers really. If it's popped, there's usually some regulars on there. Okay, so can you become a trainer if your kid? PS, I do have prior training in other games. You're always welcome to throw in a staff application. However, a staff application does not always guarantee that you're going to be accepted into staff. So if you feel like you can do it, go ahead and send the application in. But again, it's not a guarantee. I check seating announcements. Yep. Is it forbidden to record or show others the SOTT courses? So we'd really rather that you just tell them to take the course. That way they can get the tag. I'm not totally sure what purpose you really have for showing others the SOTT courses. If it's trying to get them interested in playing the game or something like that, then I mean, why not show them an operation? Why are you showing an SOTT? But you would be able to answer that better than I could. Have you guys thought of using the helicopter mod for ops like we used custom map mod earlier? So there are no plans of using the helicopter mod in operations or on our public servers. We fooled around in it before. What we found is that it's not really up to the standards that we're looking for. We'd much rather just wait for helicopters to be in the base game itself. So we're probably just going to be, or my answer is that we're definitely going to be waiting for helicopters to become part of the base game before we start including them in operations. Do you have to have FUL and SUL training to become a full staff trainer? No, you do not. I assume you mean FTL. You do not. Again, just check the README, go do the staff application, answer all the questions honestly, and a staff member will get in touch with you to talk to you further about your application, whether you're accepted or not. Clay J, yep, Triton and Evan beat me to it. The README. See, Liberal Pundit asks, will the chopper only be for reinforcement roles? So I can't totally answer that. That would be a question that XBit would be able to answer a lot better than me. But my understanding is that when we do things like extractions at the end of an operation, like you've completed a mission and then you have to get to the extract zone, usually like a compound away from where most of the fighting happens in an operation. One of the roles would be for them to actually send in a helicopter, and you have to actually extract via the helicopter. That would be one of the ways in which they could be implemented. I'm sure reinforcements could also be used in a way that could be interesting within operations. Again, this is all going to be up to XBit and what he decides is an actual creative and useful role for helicopters within these operations. So yeah. Okay. Will there be training to become a trainer? Yes, there's a trainee. So I guess I'll just do a quick little overview and let you guys. If you look at the different color names, if you have a white name, that means you're generally a public player on the server or just a public person on the Discord. If you are red, you are a general staff member. If you are green, you're an admin. Blues are regulars. Purple is a trainee. So when you get your staff application gets accepted, you get to the trainee position where they start letting you in on things the team does, but you're not a full staff member yet. Once they feel that you are able to carry out all the functions of a full staff member, then you be like accepted that you are now staff. Jack, yes, I did announce that we are looking for SOTT trainees. No, you're welcome, Jack. So yeah, we'll get maybe 1-2 more questions, and then we're gonna call it. Let's see. Does Pony have any more maps that he is working on? I'm not totally sure. Pony
Yes.
would be able to answer that. Yes. So Pony is working on another map. I guess. Yeah, we'll basically call it here. I'll answer this question and get into more. So Pony is working on maps. However, remember, the mod dev team is looking for more members. They are looking for specifically mappers. So if you have experience mapping within the SDK, please check out the staff application. Yeah. Again, SOTT also looking for staff apps. And yeah, check the README for those applications, and we'll call it here. Thanks everybody for coming out, and I look forward to playing with y'all in the server and in operations. I'll hang out in here for a little bit longer and answer some questions, but we might be locking down the community channel. But we'll be. I'll hang out for a little bit longer.